Welcome back one more time to Beyond the Summit's coverage of the Boston Major SEA Region Qualifiers. Blaze is left, Lumi is right, and we've got the main event of this regional qualifiers. Faceless, 6-0 so far in this region against one-loss Fnatic, the presumptive top two teams coming in. We're going to get you right into the draft that is already underway. These two teams, of course, vying for a spot in tomorrow's playoffs. The top 4 teams of each region will advance to the best-of-3 playoff format. These two teams both looking very, very likely to be moving on, but still a highly anticipated match.
So what you're saying is this match doesn't really matter.
Well, it matters for seeding at the very least.
I just want to see these two teams face off.
Straight up.
I do too.
Like, I don't think that either team is going to give 100% or 110% or whatever value will equate to them giving pretty much putting their full best foot forward in this matchup, because they do have a lot of matches to play throughout the playoffs. But at the same time, this is going to set the tone. This is going to at least generate morale for the winning team. And, of course, you are going to be able to take top seed, most likely, unless Beneski is unable to go down in any of the future games.
You know, I really miss last qualifier, the format, where the top team of the group just goes straight to TI.
Yeah, I think that was a lot stronger.
It makes that group matches.
I actually kind of like
it. I mean a lot more, right?
Yesterday, but I think top one is, I mean, yeah, obviously you don't get
I actually think
team in the playoff, but
I actually think it should be that way, just because I think that you should almost always only have 4 direct invites and 12 qualified teams. But that's just me again.
Complicates things for sure.
We've had that discussion, but I would love to see fewer direct invites. I really would, because I think a team, you know, I think a team like Fnatic deserve to be invited. But when you're talking about making judgment calls between Fnatic and MVP and Execration, all very good teams, all deserving of an invite, let them play it out in the qualifiers, in my opinion.
And we'll see about this Faceless team. I mean,
maybe
they're don't have any big land profile based on the fact that they are a very new team, but they have qualified for the Summit. They are looking extremely strong in this region and currently undefeated in the qualifier itself. So,
well, and one of the things I really like so far that we've seen from them is, of course, Black, Ice, already household names among people that follow Proto, but Jabs has been playing really well. He's actually the top GPM on the team, 680 GPM through 6 matches, and has played very, very well.
Yeah, a lot of people consider him the best player in Thailand.
A lot of people also forget about XY. Played ATI 1, took like 3 years off. Comes right back, and it's, you know,
hasn't missed a beat.
Yeah, I was looking at his history, and it's like his last official match before he joined Faceless was just TI3, just straight up. And I guess that's the one that caused a lot of disbands. But at the same time, like, this guy, I'm assuming probably national service was involved in, at least in part, in his vacation. But from here, out of retirement, into the game, and it's been putting on some really good moves.
I really like this drafting approach. We've seen this now twice just today from Faceless. I think they've used this in some of their previous matches. They're generally picking up their 2 supports and their offlaner very, very early, leaving the 2 cores for last. It's the second time today that we've seen them 3rd pick Crystal Maiden.
Yeah, actually, been seeing that from a couple of different teams. I think Beneski was able to pull out a really good win with it as well. And not just your typical, like, oh, I'm going to go in the jungle and farm Crystal Maiden, but one that gets involved, active. I think Louie and I got to cast an aggro try with a Crystal Maiden, and just being able to put out a lot more pressure that way. So this hero is definitely going to be high value in terms of being able to get some really good magical nukes out. Coupling that up with Ravage, the pre-BKB phase for Fnatic is going to be very scary.
Yeah, Nuts is one of those players that do not skip Freezing Field. We're going to see some big ults.
Oh, yeah.
Although I think Terrorblade is actually one of the better cores against CM. None of her disables actually prevent you from sundering, so, you know, something that Nuts is going to watch out for.
Yeah, I suppose. But we are going to be seeing a lot of extra nuke damage coming out of Black's Morphling. Probably, is that his most pick carry this tournament? It's definitely in the top 2. But it's a signature for him at this point, and is one of those heroes that can get involved early with the early action that Faceless like to put out, but also, of course, scale to a really significant degree.
Yeah, I'm not as confident in the Terrorblade pick here. I just think there's going to be a lot of mobility with the Morphling. You are going to have the Ogre and the Tidehunter pretty reliably to get Sunders off on, but remember that's a very short cast range spell, so CM Slow still can screw with you.
Yeah, and of course you have to keep in mind that they're mostly going to be popping the Ravage right when they want to burst the Terrorblade, because you can't save him from disruption if the Shadow Demon is also caught in the Ravage. So the combo is going to be Ravage and Waveform at the same time, maybe a Fire Blast or a Nova on top, but they are going to be looking to synchronize their abilities to really make it so that there's no counterplay.
I think Terrorblade is actually decent against Face's playstyle, because they basically 4v5 you for, the first 15 minutes, and that's where Terrorblade could take down ideally every tier 1 tower. To me, Terrorblade is kind of a lighter version of a Drow strat.
That's absolutely right.
Where you just go for the towers early, you build that advantage, and you look to finish the game when Morphling is just hitting his stride. So
Sure.
the timing window is there, and I like this ET 4th pick. Obviously, great combination with Shadow Demon already. But you get the minus armor combining with the natural order. Morphling is all agility, so he will be walking around with 0 armor. None of these heroes are great Vlad's builder or AC builders, so that natural order is going to have a lot of effectiveness throughout the whole game.
Yeah, I think that in this case you actually might look at like a late game Assault Cross on the Morphling. You have to do that for a number of different heroes, and Terrorblade's included in that, but he's on the ET side this time around now. We also have to kind of throw back to TI6, where we got to see Raven put on a hell of a performance on multiple Terrorblades. And I definitely think that that's going to be one of those things where a lot of muscle memory and just a lot of confidence in this pick is going to allow him to do a lot. I mean, he's going to be definitely pushing down the tower early.
Oh, man. And, wow, you want to talk about tower strategies. There you go. There's
some cheese going on here.
I don't even know that it's cheese. I think this is actually totally legit.
Okay.
In this meta, when you look at the tempo that they're going to play with those 4 heroes anyway, Pugna it makes them so much more dangerous in the early game. And the question is, is Morphling going to have time to even get that Lincolns up before his towers start to fall?
Yeah, and they are going to be able to put out so much pressure here because I have so many threats coming from different directions here. You have to worry about the Pugna's Nether Ward if you're going to be throwing out any spells to try to at least peel back the creep wave when the TB is laying into your buildings, and then at the same time you're worried about that Slaughter Crush coming in or an Astral Spirit kind of setting up the stomp. Like, they have so many different ways to start off a fight positively and to get some free damage in, at least with the ward. So I definitely think that Faceless have to be very much on their toes, and they have to execute well in the early game. You'd expect that from this matchup, but to send an Alchemist against it is actually going to be really difficult.
Actually, no. You know what? That's not as bad a pick as it might seem. On paper, the first reaction is going to be, well, you're picking a very greedy Alchemist here against a lineup that's going to be pushing your towers. But remember, Alchemist can take those points and Acid Spray early, and he can use that to defend towers fairly effectively.
Now, we saw this matchup, at least in the mid lane, before. I think the opening match of the SIG qualifier was QQR going up against Fnatic. I stopped watching the game when Mushi won 6-0 against an Alchemist, and the game was over. But
Mushi ended that game it was like 13-0-10 on his
right.
Yeah.
So I imagine that the mid is going to be a little bit more closer in terms of skills.
Yeah. To be fair, Faceless is no Rex version Q on. Like, this is going to be a pretty close matchup, and I think Jabs is definitely the kind of player that's going to be able to make the most of it. I expect maybe ET will be looking to roam in and try to levy that matchup a bit. Decrepify can be a great tool to set up Echo Stomp, and you might be able to get some early kills.
Who do you guys like here? Because I feel like this draft is very much in Fnatic's comfort zone, but it's also, with the Pugna pick, it also seems a little all-in-y.
Prepare for battle.
I mean, it definitely shows that they have a clear game plan. Like, they definitely need to end it sooner, or at least get map pressure sooner, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's playing to the strengths of their lineup more than anything else.
Sorry, I totally did not hear a question because I was doing my predictions.
You're doing the predictions? Yeah. Who'd you do? Who'd you do? Let's do them. Highest amount of physical damage a hero will do to another in one hit.
We have Slaughter Amp,
You're picking up before 20-minute barrel. Oh, come on. Do 20 to 25.
This shit, yeah, that's fine.
20 to 30, come on.
That's a pretty good window.
Highest amount of physical damage. Oh, that is crazy. Highest net worth by 10 minutes.
Gotta be the Alchemist, right?
Yeah, almost certainly.
Well, here's the thing, right? If the game goes well for Fnatic and you're sieging down towers, Pugna technically should have that net worth.
No, because that gets split among his team, right?
Not if he's getting the last hit. It's not hard to get last hits with Nether Blast.
It is hard if you're an Alchemist to be losing the net worth battle unless you're just getting crushed. And I guess you go, yeah. You go 500, 750
There's no
maybe.
crits.
There's a Slaughter.
But there's Amp, but there's no crits.
I mean, you have to go for, like, the second choice.
Yeah, I think you go the second.
5 to 700.
We'll see. You guys sabotaging my predictions here.
You guys are going with the safe choices. You know, the Alk gonna get the most net worth.
Oh, come on, I
I
gotta go with the stats, buddy.
All right, so we do have a game going on here. It's going to be
let's
Ice
talk about
actually grabbing up one of the bounty runes. The Pugna picks up the other one. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see Ice get that stronger start in that off lane, which I actually think matters a lot for Faceless here. I mean, you're going to be going up against this Terrorblade as well as a Shadow Demon. And I've talked about this a lot since the nerf, but 55 mana cost on Shadow Poison, it's a lot harder to zone certain heroes. And with Kraken Shell's Threshold, it can actually really screw over Jimmy's zoning potential. So I think getting the extra bounty rune, getting a little bit more region to play around with is going to be really good for Ice, and here is going to be that delivery of the tangos and the survival of that courier.
Every time I watch a courier, it's like, this is some next level bug. Have you seen that thing?
Like, oh, their
it's like
effects.
so
It doesn't look as bad when it's flying, but it's pretty crazy when it's just a ground courier.
Alright, Mushi's
Yeah, look at how much damage he's taking just versus...
Ogre came by and threw an Ignite at his face too.
Okay, alright. Good.
By the way,
I was like, does he just stand in acid spray there?
do you guys remember what build that he went for when he played mid the last time? I think he went mech into something else. But I don't know what his second item was.
Oh, I remember he had an Aghanim Scepter after Guardian
Okay,
Greaves.
so mech.
Mech,
Axe.
I think Yule's, Ags, and Guardian Greaves were the 3 items.
Okay.
Huh.
So eHome, I think it's the first quote-unquote Asian/Chinese team that plays Pugna Core. And Sylar plays it for them, and he always goes Aether Lens. Allows you to siege tower much in a safer distance.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Allows you to put your wards in trees. So
you were immediately when you started talking about Sylar.
Oh my god,
block!
Oh my!
Is that a kill?
Yeah, it's definitely a kill.
Yeah,
I mean, you get if you have
and they
Crack
give it
Control,
to the
maybe you're
Terrorblade.
okay.
Wow.
Even Melee is able to pick up that kill and just could pretty much buy whatever he wants at this point. I mean, Treads is probably your go-to early, but I mean, if he wants like Iron Talon jungle faster or really whatever, Raven's in a really good position here.
By the way, maybe it's unfair to do the predictions now, but are we all going for Faceless, seeing the first blood in draft, or are we saying Fnatic could take this game?
No, I actually think I actually like Fnatic's chances quite a great deal. I just think this draft is very much in their comfort zone.
Yeah, the big thing is if Isis Eyes can put on a hell of a show. I think the Ravages are actually the most important thing in this game.
Okay, so it sounds like there's 2 for Fnatic right now, based on the draft.
It's really easy to break the towers down. And actually might be able to get another block here. They've got already 4 Heroes and Illusions.
Ooh, and they actually got the Soul Catcher on, but Demon's losing the right-click war. And he needs to break it.
Anchor Smash.
The big difference is Kraken Shell is now in play. Before he was only level 1 and he wasn't blocking any damage. Now he's blocking 12 per hit, which matters a lot for those illusions that are only low rank. The Mirror Image is level 2, the Disruption level 1. So
and he was able to get Anchor Smash off on everything, including the Shadow Demon.
So Bottle Crowing looks to be happening here on mid. Mushi pretty low on HP, and the Alchemist as well, Jabs, is going to be sending it back to the Fountain. So they're going to keep on restoring themselves. Pugna currently winning 17-8 over 10-1. Do you think?
Yeah, but that's not that significant, right?
You think that'll still continue to add up with the Grievous Grid factor?
Yeah, the Alchemist is going to lose the CS war to a lot of heroes mid, but again, it's just all about getting those bounty runes.
He's not getting the stacks though. Like, look at the
that's
jungle.
a concern. That's a big concern.
CM's not doing that. I guess Ohio's giving him trouble, and that Ogre has to be helping out bottom lane. So I don't think you could be like, yeah, it's fine. He's going to catch up, because I don't know where he's going to catch up from.
No, but Lumi's absolutely right.
Oh, bottom lane, they're doing that little block again.
Yeah, not this time.
That's pretty much the only way they can find a kill here, so Titanhunter is going to be fine. In fact, he's got a TP scroll now, so like if there's no Echo Stomp, then he's actually going to be able to get away through that as well. Ohio putting out pressure. You mentioned that he's giving the CM some trouble up top. That's no surprise. This guy is one of the most high presence offlaners in Dota 2.
For better or for worse, he is going to play in your face whatever hero he's on.
And Slaughter is definitely a hero that can make the most of that. I mean, even going for the early raindrops and Windlace here.
Yeah.
I mean, these items are going to fill up your inventory very quickly, but it might be the key to get in for these kills.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. This is Nature's problem.
Kill my happy.
The damage.
Blast coming up again. One more is all they need, cooling down 2 seconds. Ohio does have another stomp. That's a kill.
Yep. Going to be able to secure it. Very, very important pickup on the Alchemist. And a Courier snipe, at least it looks like.
Where the heck did it
I don't have, I don't know who settings these are, but I don't have a Courier hockey from them.
Oh well.
It will remain a mystery.
I think that's LD. I'm not sure.
Oh well. But yeah, stacks coming out actually for the Fnatic side. Finally getting some up for Faceless as well. Nuts find some time in the jungle to get that double stack out.
This sentry is super key, by the way. Like, that's what good teams do to you. They make sure that you don't have stacks. Yeah, and they drop a ward there to make sure, you know, they gank you when you're doing that stack. So heads up play here by Nuts.
Now, another reason why it's most likely that Nuts has been focusing on this top lane is because Morphling did get a little bit of a nerf in his early game. Like, every Morphling and his mother has been going for like the maxed agility practically going out the gate with the level 1 morph. And the problem is now he has even less stats to start with. So having to be really vulnerable means that the Slaughter gets right up in his face and causes some issues.
Look at how much attention they're paying to this Alk. They're like, we're not losing this Alk. We might lose the Morphling, but not this Alk. And they are coming in.
Yeah, but that's we were talking about this earlier, right? When you look at an Alks matchup mid, you don't necessarily look at CS. You look at bounty runes and you look at stacks.
Yes. And you got to remember, Fnatic is the team that when they play up against a Naga Siren, the second that Radiance comes out, they have every single jungle camp forwarded. Like they know exactly how this economy functions, and they're able to limit Jab's progression here.
And look at this. They're having to. Faceless is having to have like 3 heroes around the jungle to make sure that these stacks aren't being contested.
All right, this is some sad time here by Jazz. He doesn't have a level 6 either, so he's okay. Fight happening mid. And if you're Pugna, I think you're fine with this, right? You could constantly blast that tier 1 tower, but it looks like he wants to contest the stacks as well. And
he's got to be awfully careful though.
Yeah,
like he's gonna get through CS, but.
Yep. I mean, but what are these supports gonna do? He's got a double damage. In fact, he might even Decrepify to set up a stomp.
Yeah, as soon as you burn your early spells here, Fire Blast or Frostbite, then he's going to start draining life, and then you're really not going to be able to do anything to him.
The big thing too, though, they didn't bring over the Slardar. Huh.
Yeah.
Actually going to be trying to go on AU here. He's got the stomp, going to set it up, hitting onto both of them with the sleep, and walking away
really
with
nice.
115 HP.
All right, I guess
he needed stomp on both there to live. That was really nice.
Is Mushi going for a Veil build, or I mean, he does double null a lot of times. He's one of the players that loves this build for just the lane dominance. So I guess it wouldn't be a surprise that he just keeps it there. Mid lane, is that going to be a kill?
Oh, it's close, but
what?
Not going to be sufficient. The range leash is going to break it.
Well, that's why Sylar buys Aether Lens, right?
Yeah. I mean, Aether Lens also buffs your, the spell damage output. So.
Well, between the range and the spell damage, that's a kill.
But also you have to consider like night vision. It wasn't applicable here because they had a ward, but like there are many times where you're still going to get fogged in some way or another, and
that was partially facetious, please.
Sure. But all the same, like there's definitely I think there's value in just going for like this unlimited mana and HP build. I think the last item Mushi actually picked up that game was a heart. So being able to just continuously heal up his allies and continue the push in earnest, like it's high value, even if you're not able to always get the Nether Blast on the towers.
Yeah, I think between Mushi and Sylar, they play a very different style, where Sylar is all about the towers, and I think Mushi is looking to play more team. He's like, for example, Sylar, if he saw the Alchemist jungling, he would just be blasting a tier 1.
And I actually think it's a little bit of a mistake that they haven't done that here, that they've been a little bit too active in contesting the jungle. Just take that tier 1 tower while you're at it. It really only takes a couple minutes of standing there spamming your spell.
Couple minutes, like 30 seconds.
Look at that.
Yeah, 2 blasts. That's 2 blasts, by the way.
Yeah, but it's also they realize their timing is going to be when this Terrorblade is like fully online. They can go, and when their Nether Blast is maxed out, he only just hit level 8. So I mean, they knew that they could do more efficient damage to the tower around this like 7 to 12 minute period than really forcing it early.
But here's the thing, though. Normally, when you pop meta, you're pushing down tier 1 towers at this point in the game. It's so important if those tier 1 towers are already down, you could be starting to siege tier 2s.
Right,
so
exactly.
Every blast that you get right now counts.
Now, you definitely want to peel away those tier 1 towers to clear the way for deeper pushes later, because of course the glyph refresh.
Looks like there was a disruption bottom, which set up some good damage. No, actually not used at all. It's just Daryl staying a little bit too far forward and does get hit by quite a bit, but Magic Wand will at least make him tanky enough to think he's confident.
Daryl?
Oh, he needed the Anchor Smash on all of the heroes, and Raven is actually the one that is able to escape from it. So he gets the full damage hits on the Tidehunter and just a clean feed.
All right, so about that 10-minute highest net worth Alchemist.
Yeah,
I guess we're all wrong.
They've just done such a good job. They've really invested a ton of time and energy into countering him, and maybe cost themselves a couple earlier towers, but they do at the end of the day have the mid and the bottom tier 1 towers down.
Yeah, and that's the big thing here. It's going to be able to push towers down extremely quickly. And
would you have picked Terrorblade though?
I mean,
I picked Pugna because I thought he was going to get more towers.
Yeah, I think Pugna can, but it really just comes down to how the lanes play out.
Black, top lane?
Yeah, he does have waveform now, so he'll be okay, but it does take a lot of harassment in the process, and I think he might just have to base at this point. He doesn't even have Replicant, so it won't be efficient. I guess what he could do is just farm his level 9 and then Replicant TP.
Man, he's got a long way to go toward his Lincolns, and they're going to lose a couple more towers in the meantime here pretty quickly.
Yep.
He's looking for his level 9 and realizing that Jabs has already taken all the creeps.
This is a concern for Faceless. You've really got to have a plan. I don't know. Are you looking to take a big fight behind Daryl's mech here?
Behind the Ravage more than anything else. It's essentially just you have to break through the 5-man.
Demon on the bottom side. All right, he's definitely dead.
Okay.
And the thing is, if you're up against a tempo lineup, all you have to do is just break the line every once in a while to get that comeback gold. And
well, the really big thing here is that you're gonna make up part of that tower deficit. You know, even just taking that bottom tier 1, the Radiant bottom tier 1 is by far the most important tower for Dire to take early on, I think. I mean, obviously, Radiant tier 1 mid is a big bonus if you can get that, but
I think for Faceless, they're happy to take anything right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because essentially, like, if you look at Morphling and Alchemist as cores, like, they love to have more of the map, but they can actually do more with less compared to Pugna and Terrorblade. Terrorblade and Pugna have to push out the lanes in order to really amp up their farm, whereas Morphling and the Alchemist can squander a little bit and actually pinch their pennies and get more value out of it. So they're going to be behind this game in terms of map advantage, but just getting a little bit more with the tier 1 bottom, it opens up the eastern part of the Radiant jungle.
Yeah, they're gonna put some damage on the tier 2.
Yeah, this early bloodlust.
This is really big if they can take this.
Yeah, but you're up against an ET, assuming the Shadow Demon will get involved too. Oh, Shadow Demon's going 3-1-1. I've seen a 4-1-1 build before, but
I mean, he's for the Terrorblade, right?
yeah, but it's so again one-dimensional.
Not at this point in the game.
Well, I mean, all right, they actually can't kill IC, so damn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, he's just Demon's assuming that he won't be able to really be on the front line. He's not going to be able to get a bunch of poisons out, and he realizes that. But at the same time, I've only seen a 4-1-1 build played once at a pro game, and it failed miserably. Like, it's so all in on this illusion play.
Well, in terms of what FL is going to do, I think they're comfortable holding the high ground. Like, sure, the push is going to come, and Blast is very good at sieging, but I think Faceless is the best in C when it comes to holding their high ground. There's so many teams that does beat Faceless in the early game, but they just succumb to the high ground defense.
No, you're absolutely right about that as a general point, but it's a matter of degree, my man. If it's one thing to say that they're good at holding high ground, and that's true, but if the other team is sieging your tier 3 towers at 15, 17 minutes, that's just a horribly uncomfortable position to be in terms of it's just very difficult at that point to keep any kind of control over the map.
I think they have the tools. Like, if you look at Jabs, he's almost a relic, right? Given his start, like, this is not a bad time. And that's where you can start split pushing. Fnatic's really good at death walling, but if you could push out the 2 of the side lanes, then they can't sit in front of your towers forever, right? Like, they have to eventually go back.
Man, this ET is very irritating. They must assume that they have a ward here. This Radiant Observer just got placed out, but I'm thinking that probably gets sentryed pretty soon because those kind of little plays like that, AU's not making that if he's wondering what's around the corner.
Right.
Mech finished on the Tide. I think that's actually quite a big deal. Just backs up the Ravage, allows you to team fight really heavily when you need to, and they definitely need to. I think that this is going to be culminating in a couple big fights, which will kind of tip the scales whether or not Fnatic is taking all the towers by 20 minutes.
Yeah. No, it really was surprising me that it was Faceless that were the first ones to really start hitting a tier 2 in earnest.
Yeah. I think it's mostly because just Fnatic were unwilling to rotate at that point. Yep. Like, they were getting a couple heroes respawned, they'll kind of push it back, but they just didn't want to bring everybody to one lane. That's not how this lineup plays. They love to spread the map, they love to keep the lanes pushed out on all sides of the map.
Oh man, they are really wanting to pressure that Dire jungle.
Yep. Radiant Ward helping out again. That's a Sacred Relic on the Courier.
Oh my god! I didn't even notice that.
Well, it's 3 minutes. Maybe the recipe will take him a while to get to too.
Yeah.
But probably not 3 minutes, right?
No, maybe.
Yeah,
just
that's a huge deal.
Well, 4-4-1 build from Shadow Demon. I mean,
yeah, you used to have a tower there.
Oh, Ice is trying to come in the back line here. Just wants to Ravage plus Waveform here onto Raven. It's going to be enough damage. He'll turn around, get the Sunder early.
The Sunder!
He's fine. Maybe not. He's stunned up right now, but Shadow Demon as well. Slaughter is inbound. They have Blink on Slaughter already. Blink forward, jabs, dead.
Yeah, but in the meantime, the backline was being torn apart by Pugna. Mushi coming in, going to be able to finish off the Crystal Maiden. Double kill for him. He kills off the Tide, he kills off the CM, while they're all just gunning down for this Alchemist. I mean,
at least they didn't use Ravage.
True.
All right, silver lining Lumi, I like it.
I mean, look, if you're holding high ground, you need Ravage for that, right?
But they can just go Roche. Even without the benefit of illusions on Roshan, they do have the benefit of amp damage. Right. And that's going to be the difference maker here.
Yeah, that fight really, the way I think of it is that fight got Fnatic back on script. This is exactly where they want to be with this lineup at this point in the game.
So I did say earlier that Nuts is a player that really likes freezing field. He does skill it at level 6. But you're using your ult next to a Pugna ward, which...
Yeah, exactly.
That ain't great, man. That's a lot of
you
mana.
had 760 HP and you're casting all those spells.
We'll see if Nuts pops himself to the ward.
It's not a max ward now. It's only level 1 ward, so it's not going to be doing that much this early, but he's obviously going to be incrementing that in the very near future, and then it's going to be quite a nuisance for him.
Yep.
It's also... It does mess with the Morphling too, right? He burns his mana through the shift. Does it actually trigger on that? I forget.
I always see those like lines being drawn very fast. I think so.
It definitely works on Witch Doctors, but...
I think on heroes like Morphling, it's more about the mana drain. Or, sorry, mana degen. Degen. Yep.
Sure.
What a weird thing to say. What a weird concept, mana degen.
Necrophos and Pugna both.
Yeah.
You know, those are unfun game mechanics, though.
Oh, so Mushi did just go for the complete Greaves. Okay.
Yeah, just straight up.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's just constancy of push. Like, they can always fight. They have really short cooldowns on all their ultimates. And obviously, this one, pop bottom, is going to be the only big one. And it's going to be ineffective if they can't stop the TP, but actually, team having already disrupted. I don't know why you disrupt early there, actually.
Yeah.
Unless that's actually what they need to get the stomp. But anyways, he gets the TP, mech TP out. Hits a reset again, still has Ravage. And it's got to be big. Like, you could see that the Terrorblade realizes that all he has to do is Sunder when he's 50% HP. He doesn't have to get, like, the 5% HP turnaround Sunders, because that sets you up to just get killed by Ravage or whatever. So he realizes that whenever he gets waveformed or any big nuke, just immediately Sunder from 50% HP to full, and you're going to be able to do enough for the fight. And Mushi's got his back.
There you go.
Easy heal. All right, well, Radiance is up, which is, again, not a bad timing, but something that you talked about in the Haas is, well, you got Radiance, but what do you do now?
Yeah, what are you going to do, right? Your second tier tower is almost already dead.
They are trying to split.
Yeah, good luck.
I was actually going to try to cancel a TP of Black. He's going to go for a wave TP into the jungle, but he's actually in some real trouble now.
Damage! He's fine.
He's all right.
One more?
He's going to go to the Replicant, who Ahai is already stalking.
Okay.
He's going to wait for him further away. I'm watching the Replicant because I assume he's going to go for it, but...
I don't think Mushi can solo kill him. Blast.
He's just going to keep running?
Yeah,
he's
fine.
By the way, that's a move that Fnatic does all the time, right? You see a top tower being pushed. Ohio TPs to the mid tier 2.
Yep.
He runs top, and then another TP comes in, and simultaneously both Fnatic heroes are there to defend. Unfortunately, that was a Morphling. A very tough kill. And they don't get it.
Yeah, I think if Ohio stays on the Morphling, then he can do that. But of course, with the Replicant in play, you just don't have that option. You need to like life drain to instantly kill the Replicant, and then you can continue to just take charge of the Morphling himself.
And Black is a good Morphling player. Is not going to position the Replicant to let you do that.
Yules again. So yeah, the same exact build, no ether, but a lot of mana and HP regen. He's just going to be able to sustain for a long time, and they can go for the slow siege.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the way the game is, unless Faceless can take a really big fight, there's just no reason for Fnatic to leave their side of the map.
There's only one big cooldown you really have to play around, the Metamorphosis. Yeah, the Earth Splitter is pretty long too, but you don't need that to actually take a fight or to push a base.
Alright, here we go.
Yeah, all outer towers down by 19 minutes, and they're going to be hitting racks here pretty soon.
Everybody getting the call to arms back, and they have to make this fight work.
Alright, Greaves gets popped. Territory is just dead. Alright, what now?
Our prediction, come on, wait like 40 seconds to take that racks.
They might actually get 40 seconds. Maybe not. Raven, refocus it.
No, before 20 minutes was the call. Blaze, I messed you up.
Sabotaged.
Okay, Blink stun here. They are still biding quite a bit of time here. Raven down to about half HP, but he does have the Aegis. Blink Ravage is going to be a play, but he's going to get Thunder off, I think. No, Aegis pops, and he will not respawn with meta.
Where's the Shadow Demon? No disruption in range.
And they're going to try to kill him. Freezing Field's going to get dropped in the background. Raven is stunned up, and there is a waveform to cancel him through.
Fight.
And remember what I said, Faceless, super good at defending high ground. They did it against Aegis. Triple kill on Faceless. It looks like your prediction is correct because, well, Rax still stands.
Yeah, absolutely, by the skin of its teeth.
Yeah, and Black gets himself a triple kill here. There's going to be a couple of Alchemist Illusions trying to finish the job, but that's going to be regenerating up at 5 a second, and backdoor protection is here. So they've got some great wards now. They've got an aggressive Observer ward inside the base. They've got one just outside of it, but who knows if they're ever going to get a chance to return to the top lane, the way Faceless just routed them.
No, it was the same problem that we saw from TNC in a good block of the last game, that they had their wards very deep in enemy territory, and that's great when you're threatening the base, but if you can't make those deep pushes happen.
And we're going to see the grass just turn so hard. And the Alchemist now gets to play his Radiance game.
Where's the Morphling in his items? That's
oh god, AU is out of position, question mark?
He's got some help from Mushi here who can heal him.
Oh, yeah.
Did he actually heal him? I don't think he did. Mushi's going to go right back in, and he's dead.
No. Oh no, this is getting really bad.
Yeah.
He just ran into 4.
Oh boy.
Not like this.
So before those 2 deaths happened, I was going to say Fnatic fans got to be somewhat worried, because that was the peak strength of Fnatic, right?
Yes,
you had Aegis, you had Manta, Demon's going to go down as well. So there is not going to be a better opportunity than what we just had if you're a Fnatic fan.
Yeah, I just felt like they committed a little bit too hard to that. I thought that their window was – I think they still had another 4 or 5 minute window.
Well, their Aegis was running out.
Yeah,
I think they want to come in for that.
Yeah, they just, I mean, they did what they had to do, but if they had just done a little bit more action with the Pugna, getting a little bit more Nether Blast, poking that down, you would have had at least the melee racks by the end of that. But
exactly. I thought they could have been a little bit more patient there.
See, this is why I think the Sylar Aether Lens build is just much more superior for this stage of the game, right? You just, it's so easy for you to poke up, and that extra, 5% or 4% you get from the spell damage matters on the towers. But I guess player preference.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously the Garden Graves has a lot to bring to the table too, but maybe you have like the mech and disassemble,
Why
reassemble
does Ogre
arcanes.
have a Vit booster?
He's going to go for the Crimson Guard.
Yeah.
Really?
So
Okay.
that's really good against illusions.
Yeah.
Any summons or illusions, Crimson Guard is actually one of the best items you can buy. Obviously, the Tidehunter doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's going to get like 7 more damage block out of it, but most of the team will find value in it.
You can't Crimson the towers, because and that's what Terrorblade's going to be hitting.
That'd be pretty good.
So, I mean, this makes it, like, if you have Crimson Guard on the Morphling, he can fight anything. Like, even when he's under Natural Order, it doesn't matter. Like, he's still able to just do so much more damage by comparison.
And what a difference. I mean, the Morphling is still underfarmed relative to where we've seen Black be in the past, but just that last fight gets him his Dragonlance to go at that Lincoln Sphere, and all of a sudden he can really contribute in these fights.
Yeah.
He can start, sorry to cut you off, he can start replicating the Alchemist as well. So he could start using that Radiance. I mean, they don't get the Grievous Greed bonus anymore, but you know, it's still a Radiance illusion that you can walk around the map. Yeah,
they're going to try to make a go on him, but where's the control? Like, that's the one thing, is when you have heroes like Shadow Demon and Elder Titan, you have really good scalability in terms of this illusion play. The Natural Order is really good against agility heroes. At the end of the day, you don't have a hard stun. You have the Ohio Crush, which definitely has the potential to isolate a target, but in the meantime, Daryl just gets to walk in.
Oh my god.
Oh, they've already killed off the Shadow Demon. They're going to be going on Raven here. Going to try to chain stun him with the Ravage. Is it going to be enough to prevent the Sunder? He is going to be going down thanks to that adaptive strike. Nice little Earth Splitter coming in from the Elder Titan, and yet Black is unstoppable, and they're going for more.
Who Yules the Tide? Was that? Oh man, that was super unfortunate. The Elder Titan Yules the Tidehunter.
Just, it's a really tough spot. I mean, they had their timing. They did such a good job suppressing that Alchemist, and here we are, just a few fights later, and Faceless are just 90-10 in this game.
But that's the problem with the lineup that Fnatic picked. I mean, yeah, this is a problem that Complexity used to run into a lot. That you make that happen, but these lineups are very unforgiving.
This could be a big one if they get Alchemist. That's going to be a second.
They will get Alchemist.
Yep, that's going to be a kill, and they could get a little bit more here. Ohio's Blink Dagger is, you know, CD right now because of the Ignite. XY is going to pour it out. Nuts is going to be dead as well, but you know, you lose a CM, that's fine.
But the big problem is that the onus is on Fnatic to turn this into just a huge push behind.
Look at the creep waves though. It's like all on the left side of the map. So
exactly, that's the issue. Is that now Faceless have what they need to maintain lane control with the
really good rush spawn for them though. This is actually extremely good if AU just hangs out, and he will see the spawn as he leaves the pit.
No!
Disaster.
I mean, we saw that Faceless has no trouble dealing with Aegis.
No.
That would have been such a good pickup, just rushing it down. I mean, and know that the Slaughter Amp, especially at level 2, is going to enable that. They're drawing lines around it, or at least Faceless are.
Okay,
but
Yules sets up another kill. I mean, these kills will transition to push, I believe.
He's got the Crimson Guard. He's going to be a long kill coming.
This is not necessarily a kill. That's a Lotus Orb.
Crimson not losing HP.
Oh, Crimson Guard, not Lotus Orb.
Okay, they stun him again.
Yeah, he'll die. It just takes a long...
Will he?
Will he?
Long,
no, he's fine.
Long time. He needs one more poison. He's got 4 on him right now.
That's a max duration stun. He's dead.
Oh wait, no, this poison is not even maxed, so he's just a dead Shadow Demon.
Oh no, Pugnus on the back, dude. He's got by the whole team.
Mushi, no!
All right.
Well, that's not working out.
And now his name
And
becomes
that's a
an Automatopoeia.
Roshan for the Dire.
He goes mush. And they might just go mid. I mean, they
Did
know
you
the
just
Pugnus
use
down for a long time.
Onomatopoeia in a cast?
I did,
Oh,
as
wow.
a matter of fact.
Okay. That's well
You
played,
jealous?
sir. I'm jelly.
But yeah, they don't even need to go for the Roshan at this point. Like they know it's a really good objective, but they can also just push out lanes. That's the strength of this lineup is they have the Radiant Illusions in play, and so even if they're not like fully comfortable in it, which they are with the Ravage, but like they can just have all these wards in place. They can have the map and the lanes pushed out, and that's their victory off of this. The Rosh to the Aegis, that's just icing on the cake.
All right, so Blaze, paint me a scenario where Fnatic wins this game.
I'm no Picasso, man.
Because I do
Come
not
on.
see this happening here.
That they don't screw up that 20-minute Rax fight?
I'll tell you that. That is an abstract painting, and I am no Picasso.
Yeah, I don't see it happening either.
I mean, it's really hard. The draft is entirely designed to have that advantage,
okay.
at least
Mushi.
pressing everything. I mean, why not, dude? You've got Natural Order, you've got
Decryptify.
Decryptify. Like,
Yeah.
you are able to obliterate somebody like a Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden, like,
Oh,
ults
not
under your
even
ward.
CM. You could kill
Okay,
an Auk.
but
Like,
come on. Blowing up Crystal Maiden, you're itemizing to blow up a Crystal Maiden.
No.
Okay.
You guys do not understand how much damage this build does. Like, you could kill an Auk with his item. Okay, he has
He
Aegis.
has
but
2.4k HP.
no, you blow through that up pretty easily. Like Decryptify, a Blast, Life Drain, Dagon, and Natural Order on top. That's enough. Maybe a couple of right clicks.
Soul Catcher could be maxed
Yeah,
out
yeah.
soon
But
enough.
they have so much amp. But obviously, Jabs has Manta. He has Aegis.
Yeah, I was just going to
Sorry.
say. Like, that's not happening, man. That Alk is not getting blown up.
So, I mean, it's an okay item. Like, his alternative is Aghanims, which, is he really sustaining an ally that well? He might be able to keep the Terrorblade alive just a little bit longer. We haven't seen a Sunder this game, I don't think, so...
We saw one.
One, yeah,
Yep.
for 50. So, they're just really not giving that opportunity, and we finally are going to be seeing a little bit more health on the Terrorblade. He's building up a Scotty, so the painting is becoming a little bit clearer as far as the... At least we've got the oil set, the wet
right.
colors
All
ready
right.
to go.
Let me give you.
Oh, here we go.
We're gonna see the action of that build.
I don't know that going on Tidehunter is the play, guys.
It should be...
Ooh, Black comes in to help out his friend.
He's got Ravage up. They need to be super
Ohio's
careful.
dead,
here.
I
Ohio
think.
is almost going to die.
Very, very
He's
close.
fine. They walk it off.
So,
I just don't think you can afford to initiate on a Tidehunter like
The
that.
thing is, like, they don't know who's behind them, and usually
Boom.
that causes caution. You say, okay, well, we don't know what's there, let's just assume the worst. In this case, they're in a position where they have to assume the best case scenario,
Oh my
assume the
God.
Faceless have overstepped their bounds. They've made a mistake, and they punish
Yeah,
it.
this one is over.
But
Yeah, by the way, Ty had a pipe, or hood, sorry, and he activated it, so that was just a lot of magic damage being blocked.
it's tough now. It really is. It looks like it's going to be the mid lane of Rax going down here. They tried. I think looking for opportunities like that is still a winner's mentality, but at the end of the day,
Pugna have
this
bio?
draft has lost.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
And I don't think it matters whether he has buyback or
No,
not.
not particularly.
Yeah.
It'll help a little bit.
Yeah, you're right. Daryl still has Ravage up, so.
And Meta, I do believe, just ran out for Raven, so.
Is that a casual buckler on the Tide?
You know what? I've been wondering that because
It has to be, right?
he got it right after he had it when he finished Arcane Boots and just never finished that.
Look at ISC's taunting.
He's
All right.
having a good time.
For the natural order, I believe, as well as the amp damage, just give him armor. Give your team armor. Faceless. Are they 7-0 after this?
That is correct. This is undefeated. They have one more game against Mineski, and that's going to be...
oh, Mineski, the savior of Pinoys. What if Mineski just beats Faceless?
Then they're the best.
That would be a
That's
story.
gonna
Happen around.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to keep them down.
Okay.
Jump on Ohio. We'll test the
it literally does
tankiness
no
of Jazz. Let's see how this Dagon works out, man. He's healing an illusion? He
I
missed
think
Yeah,
wish
that
you
was
misclicked.
Interesting.
Yeah, when the 3 illusions came, or alchemists came out of the disruption, he just clicked one, and it's just like, feed the illusion, keep him up. But I don't think that's gonna be the game changer here. You can't even heal illusions, right? They don't benefit from certain
they don't.
forms of HP regeneration.
Okay, he slept, decrep, blast. I mean, it's some damage.
It's some
They
damage.
actually get him. Nope.
But
Yeah.
nice,
okay.
ice, though, going in with the Ravage, and it looks like that's gonna be the death throws. Let it go,
And
nuts. Let
there
it
you go. The celebratory CM ulti.
The only CMO tier.
Yeah.
Is that the first one we see?
I think he did it before and got
Yeah, he
absolutely
did it in
wrecked
the
by another
defense.
ward.
I think he did it on the top defense.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
All right, Ogre gets a Vlad's for the Brubbins.
And they're going to at least force them out of the base, but they've already done the Rax damage. Black slips away, and I think Ice's Ice even will be able to escape. So at this point, you're looking at a 4 Rax advantage for the carry lineup versus the push lineup.
Yeah.
It's a lot of spells.
No, I really do think Fnatic played this the right way. They gave themselves a chance. They were just this kind of lineup is just so unforgiving of mistakes at the point in the game that Fnatic made theirs.
I wonder if you had like something to get some distance away from the Tidehunter. If you had like a Lion instead of a Shadow Demon, you weren't all in on the solution stuff.
Or an Aether Lens on Pugna.
I mean, you guys keep going back to that.
I actually kind of think Lumi's right about this.
Yes, it might be better in some situations, and I've seen it work really well, but I don't think it matters in this game. Like, in the context of this game,
it's not. That's not the story of the game.
I think the fair thing to say is Aether Lens would have been great for that top siege, but obviously having a mech Yules would have been better. Much like all the fights before it, having mech Yules is much better.
I was being I was being a little bit facetious there. I think that the 19-minute fight is the story of the game.
Yeah, and I want to break this game down. I talked to Kips a lot about like what Fnatic is up to these days, and I want to see like where this team's heads are at and what they could have done differently. If they go for like a Lion instead of a Shadow Demon in the draft, I think they have some ability to kite away from the Tide, so the Ravage isn't the end-all be-all, as it was clearly in this game. Like, if you get a good Ravage off, the fight is won. And I feel like they had to draft in order to make that different, as we see a combo where the Pugna doesn't even get to react with a Yules or a Greaves.
I actually just feel like, you know what, if you had to break it down to one hero pick, I actually feel like the Pugna was too much. You already had a really strong pushing presence with your illusion spam and with the Terror Blade. You already had some control, some tower damage. I just don't see the Pugna takes you more strongly in that direction. But I felt like you could have picked another hero to make yourself a little bit well-rounded and give yourself a chance if one push fails.
I don't know. I thought the Pugna did fine in the laning stage. Remember, Jabs got shut down pretty hard. They were able to invade the jungle. All those tier 1s was Pugnas, right?
There are other heroes that can take those tier 1s, and with a Terror Blade on your team, there are other heroes that can take those heroes that can take those tier 1s. There are other heroes that can beat Alchemist mid.
Well, the Alchemist was actually picked up when the Pugna was already on the playing field, so it was Jabs kind of setting that matchup, which favored the Pugna in the end, but it's the broader scope of the game that seems to have just fallen short for Fnatic, and Ice is ready for another big one.
Okay. Ice. I mean, he's been doing this all day, just running, make people focus on him.
Oh boy, that's a dead Elder Titan. Nice aura, but you need to be alive to use it.
All right, that's GG.
Oh, in the fountain.
Yeah, BM. There you go.
Takes a bath. Oh, and that's going to be the game.
Well,
Faceless,
guys,
7-0.
You both, I believe, were pretty adamant. I know Lumi was coming into this region that Faceless was the best team, and it has sure looked like it throughout these qualifiers. They go to a perfect 7-0 in the region. I believe they have now locked up a spot in the 14 plus. They are definitely going to be in that best of 3 phase starting tomorrow. Of course, Fnatic still looking very, very good, and Mineski and TNC now. Warriors Gaming Unity did get their 3rd loss in that last game that we covered. So TNC is actually ahead in the loss column, looking like they have a chance to make that top 4 as well. The last couple series here in the SEA region for the evening are going to matter quite a lot, though. We do have at least one spot in that 4-team playoff for tomorrow on the line. So, guys, please stay tuned. We are going to take a little bit of a break and come back with the next round of games. I'm Nahaz. This is Blaze and Lumi. Thanks very much for watching, and we will see you in just a moment.